overprotective mothers when they're younger. But my mother took it to the next level. Remember those ball pits we used to have when we were younger? Those plastic ball pits? You just kind of jump in it and float around and move the balls all over the place. I used to love the ball pits. I used to get in like all-out wars with kids that I barely knew. Just to put kids in headlocks and stuff like that. It was like my time, you know? I loved it. But I remember the last time I had a good time. I remember the last good time I had in one of those ball pits. I remember I was in the ball pit, and I was fighting with one of these kids and whatever, and I had him in a headlock and giving him a noogie, and all of a sudden, the guy in charge of the ball pit starts screaming at everybody. And all the parents are screaming too. They're like, "Get out! Get out of the ball pit!" So, I couldn't really figure out what was wrong, but then I smelled what was wrong. Turns out a kid took a shit right in the middle of the ball pit, and he was standing there and he's crying. And then this girl came over to where he took his shit, and she got so grossed out she started puking everywhere. So at this point, all the parents are like jumping into the ball pit, like getting their kids, like directing their kids away from the shit area. They didn't really think anything of it. So I get out of the ball pit and I go over to the arcade and I start playing arcade. And so the next time we go to the fun park, I run over to the ball pit and I'm ready to jump in, and my mom's like, "Hold it on there! You can't go in there yet." I said, "Why not?" And she's like, "Here, put this on." And she pulls out this mini hazmat jumpsuit. And I said, "I'm not wearing that, Mom." And she's like, "You will if you want to go in there." So I'm like, "Alright, fine, I put on the hazmat jumpsuit." So I put on the hazmat jumpsuit, and I'm standing there. I'm like, "Alright, Mom, can I go in now?" And she's like, "No, you can't. Put these on." So she hands me gloves. So I'm putting on the gloves and stretching the gloves out. I'm like, "Alright, can I go in now?" And she's like, "One more thing." She's like, "Here, put this on." So she pulls out a respirator. It's one of those things you strap on your head, and there's those two bulbs like right on the side of your head. And I'm like, "I'm not wearing that." She looks at me, she's like, "Do you want to die?" And I look at her and I'm like, she's like, "Answer me, do you want to die?" And the little kid, I'm like, "No, Ma, I don't want to die." She's like, "Do you know how many little kids die of bacterial infections?" So I'm like, so I saw this kid that I always used to fuck with in the pit. So I'm like, "Alright, fine, give me the damn respirator." So I stuck the respirator on and jumped in the pit. So as soon as I jump in the pit, the fucking respirator fogs all up and I can't see shit. So I'm like, so I go to like take the respirator off, and my mom's on me like a hawk. She's like, "Keep it on!" And I'm like, "Well, I can't see anything and it's hot as hell in here." And she's like, "Well, keep it on." So I'm in the middle of the ball pit, and I got the respirator on, and it's all fogged up, and I'm breathing heavy. Sound like fucking Darth Vader or some shit. And the kid that I was gonna mess with comes up to me, and he smacks me in the back of the head. And I'm like flaring my arms trying to grab him, but I can't see shit. So there's this other girl that's in the corner, and she looks at me and looks at her mother. She goes, "Mom, what's wrong with that kid?" Mother looks at me. She's like, "I don't know, he must have cooties." That's all she had to hear. She ran over to me with her old little girlfriends, and she's like, "Cootie head, cootie head, cootie head." I started joining in. I'm like, "Cootie head, cootie head, cootie head." Because, you know, I didn't realize they were pointing at me because my shit was all fogged up. As soon as I realized that, it wasn't as funny anymore. So I'm sitting in the middle of the fucking pit, and these girls are pointing at me, calling me cootie head. I got this other little bastard in the back of me smacking me in the head. And then the other little boys see him smacking him in the head, so they come over here and start smacking me too. And I'm flaring my arms trying to get everybody, but... So, that was my last fun time in the pool, in the ball pit.